Apex Scotland is the specialist organisation that for 25 years has contributed to a safer Scotland by working with ex-offenders and young people and adults at risk to give them the necessary skills to change their behaviour and lead fulfilling lives. We do this because we know that by providing the right support at the right time, we can make a significant difference to the choices people make and the outcomes they can achieve. This DVD explains how we go about our business and details the support we provide to our service users to manage a wide range of issues such as debt, addictions, literacy and disclosure more effectively. The DVD focuses on the 3 essential elements which make up an Apex Scotland service. Our Positive Future Wheel, which allows us to assess and measure the progress of our service users. Our range of products, designed specifically to meet the needs of both the service user and the funder. And perhaps most importantly, the staff who deliver our services, the personal development mentors. The first of these elements is the Positive Future Wheel. This tool allows us to work jointly with service users to look at the interlinked elements of their lives and identify the issues that are causing them the most difficulty. These might be concerns about their housing or criminal record, or worries about addiction or debt. We identify what area needs the greatest attention and then create an action plan that addresses these issues. Whatever the programme or order, we use this high-quality approach to assess and work with service users. It is a flexible and clear way of working with individuals that allows us to set realistic but challenging targets and to measure progression. Service Development Manager Helen Tripp explains.
The wheel is really important in the work that we do. It was developed a couple of years ago and it allows us to give a real focus to the individuals with their own separate issues. Tries to cover as many areas or barriers or places in people's lives as possible so that they can identify what their particular issues are and we can give more importance to the particular issues that affect them the most. Not everybody needs assistance in every single part of the Apex Positive Futures wheel because not everybody has every single issue. But because it's such an in-depth self-assessment tool, they can see that the service user themselves can see what it is that's actually really holding them back, and then we can spend more time developing the service to suit that particular issue. Or if it's one issue, it might be 2, it might be 3, depending on what it is. But it's really useful because it focuses the service user and the Apex staff on what they actually need to be spending their time doing with that individual.
The second element is the type of products we can offer. Apex has a broad range of high quality and flexible training modules that are arranged under 3 distinct product headings: personal development, reducing reoffending, and preparing for work. These allow the Apex Personal Development Mentor to identify the most appropriate support required for the service user, and the funder to have clarity about the service that is being purchased. So, for example, if the service user is some distance away from being able to secure or hold down a job, the Personal Development Mentor would be able to select appropriate modules from the personal development product, such as communication skills and personal presentation, that would provide the service user with the skills necessary to be better prepared for the world of work. For service users whose offending background is a key concern, modules from the Reducing Reoffending product that deal with disclosure and behavioural change can be selected. And for individuals who are assessed as being capable of getting a job with some support, the Personal Development Mentor can select from the Preparing for Work product that focuses on topics such as dealing with authority, job search techniques, and the value of work. The third essential element that makes up an Apex service is the means by which these interventions are delivered, namely the people responsible for ensuring that every approach takes into account the individual needs of the client, their developmental needs, and their ongoing personal support and coaching requirements, without creating dependency. These critical staff members are known as personal development mentors. Service Development Manager Vicky Binney explains the skills required to be an effective personal development mentor.
The qualities I would look for in a personal development mentor is somebody who is understanding, non-judgmental, who can help to motivate the client that they're working with. I think they have to have firm boundaries because it's not a relationship where they're their friend and the client they're working with needs to understand that. but have that trust with them. When I'm interviewing for somebody, I'm not looking for somebody that's got all the answers. What I want is for them to help empower the individual they work with to find the answers. And they have to know when it's appropriate to challenge the client that they're working with, but also when it's time to kind of step back and let the client take a bit of time to think, because the last thing we want to do is rush people forward and it sets them up to fail. I need somebody with a good sense of humour, somebody who's flexible and can think on their feet. As a worker with this particular client group, there is setbacks and we need to be prepared that there is going to be some chaos, and as a worker you need to not take that personally. So you have to have a bit of resilience yourself, and motivation and passion for what you do. So for me, it's not about qualifications, it's about personality and how somebody relates to the clients that they're working with.
The Apex approach is tried and tested. We have a proven track record in helping service users move on to work or training. It works because we recognise that everyone is different. People's needs change, and they need different support at different times.
A bit of a crisis. Okay, if you just want to calm down and tell me what's happening at the minute. Right. And do you feel it would help if you came in and had a one-to-one wee chat with us? Have a wee coffee and you can let me know how you're feeling? Yep. Is there any time suits you today, William? Any time after 3 o'clock. Just give me 2 seconds and I'll check my diary. Yep, what about 3:30? No. 4 o'clock. Yep, that's fine with me. And you're going to be alright up until then if you've got somebody with you, or yeah? Right, that's fine. We'll have a proper reset down chat and you can let me know what's going on and see if there's anything we can support you with. Okay? If there's anything else, just give me a wee phone, you know where we are. Okay, see you at 4 o'clock. Okay, bye.
But I also like to see the clients growing in confidence and being able to leave us when the time is right for them. What we don't want is them being dependent and this becomes their comfort zone, and that's not healthy for the workers or for the clients that we work with.
The guy's name was Chris, and Chris came to us initially with what I would describe as probably quite severe barriers socially. He was a very intense individual and was very isolated. It was clear he was very isolated based on the discussions I had with him. Based on those discussions and that initial contact, I identified why he was isolated. He had a real sort of intense presence, and his use of language. He was very intelligent actually, but there was something slightly intimidating about him initially. He was looking for employment, but for myself, I think what he really needed was primarily was social contact. So it occurred to me that having spoke to him and having heard that his passion was working with wood, and he had a real desire to work as a carpenter, and indeed he spent a lot, in fact almost all of his own time working with wood, restoring furniture, restoring chairs and cabinets, and he had a lot of photographs to evidence his work. It occurred to me that he may benefit from volunteering, and I'd identified specifically Gal Gale, who woodworking is a specialism, from boat building to smaller projects, and it seemed a perfect fit, and they liked him and he liked them, and he's been volunteering there for the last 8 to 12 weeks. Beyond that, things have been going so well that contact has really only been telephone contact once or twice a week, just to check that everything's okay, and it has been, so we've left it at that. It's been light contact, and long may that continue.
In order to encourage a lasting difference, we focus on what's most important and begin removing barriers. We highlight the positive and stimulate change. We acknowledge achievement and encourage progress, and support the journey to self-reliance.
So when we're on a journey with our service users, I suppose it's a case of assessing what their needs are first of all, and then helping them to make decisions about moving on positively, looking at action points that they will be able to achieve and making them realistic. Working in the forest will kind of look at all different types of challenges. I mean, there's teamwork, communication skills, problem solving. A lot of it can just be social interacting for our clients. I mean, some of them have been excluded by their peers. If they've come away from addictions, they'll feel quite isolated. They'll forget how to have fun and even have conversations. So when you've got them out in the outdoors like this, those barriers seem to fall. I mean, they might decide that something like this is a job for them in the future, or it's maybe just enough to get them out of the house and give them some sort of structure socially. I mean, I think it's an important part of our service because we are staff and we're a small core group in Highland that would love to achieve bigger and better things. But for us to be able to do that, we need to look at the service users we're looking at and looking at some of the amazing skills and talents that they have. And if they can be trained, empowered, motivated to start to want to do things more positively, like look at some of the AccuTraining maybe that we can offer, working outdoors kind of as a mentor on the ground, doing activities with us, maybe doing the SMART group, then that is going to not only build the service that we have in Highland but enable us to roll it out.
At the heart of this ethos is the relationship formed between the client and the personal development mentors, volunteer mentors and peer mentors who make up our service delivery teams.
And I've been helping Apex with making paths and doing different things like carving up in the woods here and making paths for the wheelchair users, and the skills that I have learned through it have helped me a lot in life and in general.
Changing attitudes and entrenched behaviours does not happen overnight, nor is an automatic response to a programme or system. It is a journey of change or recovery which needs support, positive role models and patience.
When I came here, I got a lot of support, helped me with trying to find a job, getting housing because I was homeless. It helped me out.
By their very nature, peer mentors are people who have been through the system or who have been in a difficult place, have moved on positively. But they're like anybody else. It doesn't mean that they'll never ever have a relapse, that they'll never ever reoffend. That is always a possibility. However, the peer mentors that we use here, we find them to be absolutely invaluable in the work that we do. Not only because they can relate to the client group that we work with, but because they're really, really motivated to change and do well for themselves. And part of their process of moving on and part of their whole recovery process is giving that back and trying to help others who they see as being in the same situation that they were in once. And it is very, very successful. As long as it's managed well and it's run professionally and there's the professional Apex staff supporting them along that way, it's an extremely successful way of working with a client group that we have.
I believe that Apex provides a really valuable service. I think one of the unique points about us is the way that we work with unengaged clients, and one of the good things about it is seeing people who've moved on and pop back in, have a cup of coffee and a chat with us and let us know how they are getting on. A couple of the Get Ready for Work clients have moved on. One of them's working in K now at one of the guest houses down the shorefront here, providing support for other young people in the same position that she was in, and to me that's a sign that it's working.
I have a drink problem, that's the reason I'm here. I like it because it gets me out of the house. I get cabin fever quite easily, too much time on my hands, and the physical work's helped me build out. My diet's a lot better nowadays, but I love coming to work. I've never loved coming to work before, and I love coming to work. It's voluntary. It's great.
There's one thing us saying you can get through it, you can achieve great things in life, but it's another thing when our clients go on to be your peer mentors who are actually the evidence of those wonderful things.
They're amazing people to work with, and they've got their experiences too, from like Mark, I say, he's done a lot in his life, and he's taught me a lot as well about my life and how to control things. Definitely.
They need somebody that's walked in their shoes. I think it's about them feeling, well, I've not been the only one that's gone through this. If they can achieve it, then it's possible for me. I mean, sometimes they just see us as the staff, and that's, and as I say, it's about building that relationship. But if we also show them the peer mentor side of what other people can achieve, and those peer mentors start working one-to-one and go out and do these activities, then we make the hope for a positive future real for them.
The Apex Personal Development Mentor, a professional help towards a positive future.